Howdy everyone. Today we're going to review the newest Ozzy Osbourne album, Ordinary Man. This is a 2020 release. It came out in February of 2020. This is Ozzy's first solo album in 10 years, since 2010's Scream, and it's the first album I have purchased in the 2020s, so it's kind of weird seeing 2020 as the copyright date on this. I'm sure, of course, I'll be buying many more albums in the 2020s. For this album, Ozzy has worked with a different set of musicians and songwriters. His core collaborators include Andrew Watt as the primary guitar player, who also serves as the executive producer on the album, Chad Smith, the drummer from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and a couple of Guns N' Roses boys, Duff McKagan and Slash. There are also a couple of other notable guests that appear on the album. Elton John basically does a duet with Ozzy on one song, and Post Malone appears on a couple of songs, and Travis Scott. So overall, to me, this is a very good album. This is probably the best thing I've heard from Ozzy Osbourne in his studio discography in 25 years. This to me sounds like an album that is a lost album that sits somewhere between 1991's No More Tears and 1995's Osmosis. I think working with some of these younger musicians like Andrew Watt, Post Malone, and maybe some of the other contributors on the album, all of that has served to rejuvenate Ozzy, and the album is healthier because of that. There are a lot of strong songs on this album, and although I wouldn't consider the album having a lot of this nostril flaring, snarling heavy metal sound from Ozzy's yesteryear, the album sounds almost more like a hard rock album. It is packed full of great melody and some great musicianship. In particular, I'm really impressed with Andrew Watt's guitar playing. I really like dark, smoky, atmospheric guitars, and there is a lot of that kind of atmosphere and texture throughout the songs on this album. So that is definitely one of the strengths. And I would say if there's any kind of conceptual theme that goes throughout the album, it seems like some of these albums could almost be played at Ozzy's future funeral. They seem perfectly suited for his eventual celebration of life ceremony. Of course, Ozzy is now 71 years of age, and he's had some health problems in the last couple of years. As I understand, he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's. So we don't know what the future holds for Ozzy. So I'm grateful that we get any new music at this point, and certainly to have a late career album as strong as Ordinary Man is, in my opinion, is just fabulous. I would like to run through the songs real quick now. Again, here's the album cover. The album starts off with probably the heaviest song on the album, the very aggressive Straight to Hell. The guitars are very much in your face, and there's a great melody throughout the song. Very catchy chorus. Let's see, from there we see that the track listing goes into All My Life. I like this song a lot too. I like this almost slow build of the song as it paces itself smartly in the verses, and then it builds throughout. Track number 3 would be Goodbye. I think this is one of those songs that would fit in nicely with something you would hear at a future celebration of life ceremony for Mr. Osbourne. The next track is the title track, and this is the track that features Elton John. And on the surface, this seems like something that is very bizarre. However, this works amazingly well. This partnership between the two of them throughout the song is fascinating and surprisingly strong, much stronger than what you would think it would be just on paper. I like Elton John's vocals on the song. I think he sings the second verse entirely, and it blends and matches very nicely with Ozzy's vocals throughout the song. Of course, his piano playing is strong, and recently watched the video that has now been made and released for the title track, and I think this is another song that definitely fits in nicely with something that you might hear at a wake, a future wake for Ozzy. After that, we have Under the Graveyard, and this was the first single that was released off the album in November of 2019. I really like that stuttered tempo in the chorus. I think that has a very it's a very strong hook, as it just kind of paces itself, one step at a time. Surprisingly strong. After that song, I think we get to the strongest section of the album, at least in my ears. The next three songs are just superb to me. The next song is Eat Me, and this is a very seemingly disturbing song, and the story that inspired it, from what I read and understand, is very disturbing. The song itself is superb, very catchy, and I like all of the instrumentation and the musicianship that occurs throughout the song. From what I understand, the song was inspired by a man in Germany who had placed an ad for a volunteer to be cannibalized, and sadly someone did respond to his ad, and as a result, now, as I understand, this man is serving a prison sentence for life. As we've seen with songs throughout Ozzy's career, he will craft a song based on some kind of very strange and often very disturbing social and or cultural event, and this is the latest example of a tragic event that occurred. The next song, Today Is the End, is another favorite. I am very impressed with Andrew Watts. Again, his smoky, dark, effects-laden guitar parts. Really like that part. Also think there is a great hook in this song after the choruses, the ooh parts of the choruses. Extremely catchy. After that, we have Scary Little Green Man, and this is another one of my favorite songs on the album. A song discussing the possibility of aliens coming to Earth and contemplating the existence of alien life. And it's another very catchy song, very entertaining, really like that. After that, we get Holi For Tonight. I really like this song too. I like the background vocals that are on the song. This is another example of a pretty good melodicism that runs throughout the album and many of the songs. And what I also really like about this song is that there is the perspective of the narrator in this song. Ozzy has placed himself in the position of talking about his impending death, almost like from a position of the penultimate day of his life. So the day before his death, he is contemplating about how long the night will be, what final words he might be saying to his loved ones the next day before he passes on. It's just a fascinating perspective, and I really enjoyed the overall musicianship of the song and that perspective of one's life. After that, we have It's a Raid. And this is the song where Post Malone joins Ozzy. I am not quite as much of a fan of this song as the others on the album. This might be my least favorite song on the album. I think the song addresses a drug raid gone bad back in Ozzy's Black Sabbath days in the earlier mid-70s in Los Angeles. I think there are elements of the song that have some similarities to hardcore punk, but what really drags this song down for me are the just the over-processed vocal effects, and there's just a lot of noise that appears throughout the song. It all serves as a distraction, as it just doesn't seem to be that great of a song. And then the album ends on the song Take What You Want. This is this duet, I guess, with Travis Scott, who is also another younger performer. I believe he's a producer. He's done rap songs or hip hop songs too. Maybe another odd pairing, but surprisingly, I kind of like this song as well. Might seem really strange on paper, but the results are not bad. So those are the songs on the album, and that's Ordinary Man in a nutshell. Where Ozzy goes from here, who knows? Will we see another Ozzy Osbourne album in the future? It's hard to say. He's obviously got some significant health issues now. I'm sure his heart is still in this and that he would want to continue to perform and create new music if he is physically and mentally capable. And we certainly hope that's the case, but the future is unknown. So if this was the last Ozzy Osbourne album, I think it's a great way to go, a great album to end a long and illustrious career on. Is it as good as his classic 80 albums? No, but it's certainly the best album, in my opinion, that he's released in the 21st century, and who knows, maybe there will be something else in the future. We can hope. That's it for now. Let me know what you think of Ozzy Osbourne's newest album, Ordinary Man, in the comments, and take care, everyone. We'll see you again soon.